problem is not the problem itself. The problem is avoiding the problem. Facing a problem needs a lot of energy. Avoiding a problem does not need energy. We avoid problems in the moment until that problem becomes so huge that we can't avoid it anymore. And we are pushed into the problem. And that situation is extremely terrifying. Like it's very bad situation, but that's what happens 99% of the times with the 99% of the population, which is you avoid the problem until the problem comes to you. What is the biggest crisis I am in right now?
Yeah.
Ask this question. The nature of this crisis is that it will always reveal the goal naturally. If you are sick, what is it that you want, Alan?
Like very low energy stuff.
Yeah, but but if you're sick, what is the goal that you have?
Oh, I want to be healthy.
If you're poor, what is the goal?
Lots of money.
And look at the crisis that you are in. You will naturally know what is the goal that you need to chase right now in this moment.
Okay. Hello, everyone. My name is Alan, and today we're going to talk about problem solving. And it's probably the only life skill you need in life to have a successful and beautiful life. And today, I welcome my mentor, my teacher, Prathamesh Krisang. And before we talk about problem solving, I just want him to introduce a little bit about himself, what he does, where is he from, and what does he do.
Yeah. Hi, Alan. Thank you so much for having me here on the podcast. About myself, I started my career as a designer. And eventually I got into filmmaking and I built a film production house. And then I got into marketing and I started doing a lot of digital marketing for brands. I took a few brands from zero to $1 million. And eventually we started our own brand. I built a food brand, which went to again zero to $1 million. And then we are building a sari brand right now. It's a garment brand, right? And then we have the brand that we are building, the education brand, which is known as Magnetic Nation. So what I end up doing is build multiple projects, right? It's just something that comes very naturally to me. And all I'm doing is solving problems from morning till evening. Either it's my own problems, my team's problems, or my students' problems. But that's all I'm doing all day.
Yes, and the reason why I want to talk to you today is because you not only solve a lot of my problems during my YouTube career, but you also solve a lot of my personal problems in my life. And I just see so many people are suffering, from friends to family, and they are clearly stuck in their own situation. But somehow they can't get rid of it. They just know they are in an environment that they don't want to be in. And I just want to ask you that, why can't they get out of the situation? Why do they stuck in a loop?
Yeah, I think everyone is capable of solving problems, okay? The problem is not the problem itself. The problem is avoiding the problem, right? Since we were child, especially both of us come from the Asian culture, and we know that we avoid problems like it's a cancer, right? And that has become a subconscious conditioning for us in our brain. So even if everyone starts switching from avoiding problems to chasing problems, it's like, okay, actively every day when you wake up, you need to train your brain for this, okay? Because naturally, you will always go for the path of least resistance. That is what you will naturally do. But that's the worst thing to do, right? What you should focus on every day when you wake up is, okay, what is the biggest problem of my life that I need to solve now? Not even today, but what is the most important problem? And in the Indian culture, we have this term which means obstacle. So quite often when I say problem, people have very different definition of what a problem means. And that is why I avoid the word problem. What I use is obstacles. So what you need to think of is, what is the biggest obstacle in my life right now? And this is a very simple question, but as we start speaking, you will see there is so much depth to this. If we will go into the depth later, but if you just begin your life and day with this one simple question, not about what is the goal I want to achieve, not about what I wish I had, not about what I would like to have, but what is the biggest obstacle of my life right now? This is a simple question. If you start asking yourself, it becomes absolutely, you will start getting very different life. like different answers, because I strongly believe that your answers are only as good as your questions, because your brain is like a chat GPT. It will only give you answers to the prompt that you give it, right? The problem is we have all the wrong prompts right now. And what we need to do is give it the right prompt, which is, what is the biggest obstacle? That's all.
So how do we find our first biggest obstacle?
Okay, great question. Um, in India, we have a deity called Ganesha, Ganpati. Do you know of him?
No, tell me more about it, please.
Okay. So I'm sure a lot of people have seen the photo or an image or a sculpture of Ganesh or Ganpati, who is like an elephant-headed god who has a trunk, a tusk, big ears, right? He is known as Vignaharta.
Vignahata.
Okay. The meaning of Vignaharta is Vigna is obstacle, Harta is remover. So this
Wow.
god is a remover of obstacles. But it's not just that. There's a lot of secret encoded in the entire symbolism of this deity or this god called Ganesha. If you start decoding it, you start decoding how to remove problems from your life. It's extremely powerful. Okay. One of the first names of Lord Ganesha is Sumukha. Okay. That will give you the answer of how to find obstacles or how to find the right obstacles. Because what we end up doing is we solve the wrong problems or wrong obstacles in life. Right. And that's again a waste of your time. Because if you end up, yes, you are solving obstacles, but you're solving all the wrong obstacles. Like, let's say I want to be rich. The obstacle is I don't know who I can steal money from. Right. So
Yes.
that's a wrong obstacle to solve. So how to solve the right obstacle? That secret is in the name called Sumukha. Sumukha is having your face in the right direction. That is that is the meaning of Sumukha. Okay. The first step that you need to have your face in the right direction before you solve any obstacle.
How do
Which
we know
means,
that?
yes, it's very simple. It depends on where you are right now. It's like GPS, right? When you are deciding where you want to go, you have to begin with where you are. So there is this concept called as Deshkal Patra, okay, which is the place, the time, and the person. Okay, what you need to do is you need to start with realizing where am I right now physically. Okay, what is the location that I am at? So the location can start with your body. You are in your body. Okay, this is where you are. I'm in my house right now. This house is in this area called as Panchavati, which is in Pune, which is in India, right? So we have this, go outside, like go from where you are and start broadening your understanding of where you are, okay, in terms of location. Then let's look at the time. What we are doing is, this is the context. We are setting the context first. Okay. Where am I is clear. Now, when is the time? At what is the stage of my life right now? What's my age? What am I doing in life? Right. You start asking the questions about the timeline. What are the times we live in? We live in the 21st century. Okay. What is the kind of environment we are living in? Right. What's happening in the times of today? There is, let's say, if your audience is watching from Taiwan, what's happening in Taiwan? What are the kind of times we are living in? Be aware of all of it. This sense of awareness is very important. So that is the time. And the person is you and everybody around you, right? It starts with you. Okay, who am I? And I'm not saying who am I in the spiritual sense. Okay, start with the most basic thing, like whatever the answer is. Okay, I'm a guy, right? I am 30 years old, 35 years old, and I'm Indian, and I come from this culture, and this is the language I know. These are the skills I know. You start with all the leverage that you have. Now, again, we go into this completely different direction, but okay, these are the skills I have. These are the people around me. This is what they are capable of, right? So you just be aware. Like, this is just when I'm saying this, I want you to start thinking about yourself. Put yourself in that situation and start thinking about these questions. Okay. Now, when you understand about the place, time, and person, like these three aspects, the next obvious thing that starts coming out is the crisis. Okay. So
Yes.
what will happen is you will start discovering what is the crisis you are in right now. It's very difficult to know where you want to go in life because there are a lot of other factors that might come in, right? That may stop you from going where you want to go. I understand. But it's very easy to know what is the kind of crisis you are in right now, right? Let's say my crisis is I need to make a lot of money because I have a lot of debt from the banks and I need to get out of this debt. That's the crisis I'm in. First of all, how many of us actually sit and articulate a crisis in words?
Yes.
We avoid a crisis so badly that we don't even think of putting words on it. It's
Yes,
like,
and I want to bring back to what you said earlier. Like the biggest problem that people are facing when they are solving problems is that they try to avoid the problem. And why
yeah,
do they do that?
I think it's because of the way we are taught our education, right? I mean, I think quite often most answers come from how we were raised.
Yeah.
First of all, it's also probably biological to some extent. It's a survival mechanism where facing a problem needs a lot of energy. Avoiding a problem does not need energy. And our body will always try to conserve energy.
Yeah.
That's a default, mode for any person. We will always try to do something that does not need energy. And that thing is to avoid problems. Although, and that too, we avoid problems in the moment until that problem becomes so huge that we can't avoid it anymore and we are pushed into the problem, and that situation is extremely terrifying. Like it's very bad situation, but that's what happens 99% of the times, with the 99% of the population, which is you avoid the problem until the problem comes to you,
Mm-hmm.
right? It's all because of just it's an energy problem, I think. we,
Yes.
we don't have the energy to face the problem. That's the core of it, right?
So a lot of people are losing their energy. They don't know how to gain their energy. So they don't have the momentum. They don't have the energy to find their first obstacle.
Yeah.
So how do people increase their energy? Like what's energy about? How do we utilize it to solve our problems, to have a happy life?
Yeah. So I'll give you a very simple physical biological answer.
Okay.
Okay. First of all, whether it is to face the problems, to see the right problems, or to solve the problems, any of this will require you to get out of this box called as your room, or your home, or your college, or your office, wherever you are. You have to get out in nature, which does not have straight lines. Why? It has a deep psychological impact. When you get out of straight lines, your brain also starts getting out of those straight lines and starts thinking very creatively. You can observe yourself, go out in nature where there is no human, too much of human interference. Go barefoot, get a lot of sun on your skin, and sit there for just 1 hour without doing anything. Before we understand how to build energy, let's also understand how we drain energy. We drain energy by consuming content. Okay. We drain energy by sitting inside a box, by not moving our bodies, by eating junk food, by watching porn, by getting into habits that drain your, give you cheap dopamine hits like addiction. In fact, Patanjali, who has written one of the best books on yoga thousands of years ago, has already talked about 8 obstacles that you will face that will drain your energy and that will make you unstable physically and mentally, right? We can talk about that later if you want.
Okay.
So they are there are 8 9 obstacles that you have to avoid. They're like illness, for example, having a doubt, being indecisive in life, always staying in a sense of doubt about decisions in life, that will drain your energy. Taking efforts but not getting a result will drain your energy. Then laziness will drain your energy. It's quite weird, right? People think after you drain energy you feel lazy, but it's like laziness actually drains your energy,
Wow.
right? So this there are like all these things that will drain your energy, and the way to counter all of that is very simple. Go out in nature, put your feet barefoot on the ground, get a lot of sun in the on the body, like remove your shirt and all, and just do nothing. Because if you connect with nature and do nothing, nature will start recharging you. Then, and if you want to, a point of focus, try to look out in the horizon. Look as far away as you can, because that has a very different psychological effect on your brain. There is actually a lot of research that has happened on this, okay?
Mm-hmm.
When you look far away on the horizon, your perspective expands, right? And the
Yes.
kind of thoughts you get are much better quality. And all of this, like, there is research that has happened, but forget about research. Why don't you try it yourself and see for yourself? That is how you start building your energy. And when you're doing that, consider that as a time where you can also think about your life. The things that I said, where am I? What kind of times are these? And who am I? Right?
Yes.
Think about these and then think of, okay, considering all of this, what is the biggest crisis I am in right now?
Yeah.
Ask this question. The nature of this crisis is that it will always reveal the goal naturally. If you're sick, what is it that you want, Alan?
Like very low energy stuff.
Yeah, but no, but if you're sick, what is the goal that you have?
Oh, I want to be healthy.
If you're poor, what is the goal?
Lots of money.
Yeah. And if you have bad communication skills, what do you want?
I want to be able to connect with other people, be able to have a good communication skill.
Very good. So you see what crisis does? It reveals the goal.
Yes.
It will naturally reveal the goal. So that's why I often say that don't imagine a goal. Most people have a very wrong idea of thinking of a goal. People will kind of just imagine something random in the future without
Yes.
considering where they are today. But
Yes.
if you're just in the present moment and look at the crisis that you are in, you will naturally know what is the goal that you need to chase right now in this moment. Doesn't
Yes.
matter how amazing your dreams are, right? You will achieve them, the imaginary dreams, but you will achieve by going one step at a time towards that goal. And that one step at a time depends on your context. For Alan, who is from Taiwan in New Zealand, your obstacles are very different from me, who is in India, and I'm also trying to achieve something, right? Because our obstacles are different, our solutions will be different, even if both of us want to get rich. And that is why your current context, the present moment, is important.
So I just want to summarize what you just said. So you say the reason why we cannot solve our problem is that we don't know what our obstacle is. And we
Yeah.
don't know what our obstacle is because we don't know where our current location is.
Yes.
And the reason why we don't know where we are is because we haven't paid enough attention. We don't have enough energy to it. And
Yes.
that's so profound because it's like a whole chain of thought, whole chain process that can help you step by step to guide you to solve your problems. And one
Exactly.
of the biggest reason why I would like to invite you to come to my podcast and to have a chat is because you are one of the most clear person I ever talked to. You not only accomplished so much in filmmaking career, but also in marketing, but now you're an entrepreneur. And you're inspired a lot by Lord Ganesh. So I would love you to talk a little bit more about how Lord Ganesh and how Indian culture affects you into problem solving, how to have a
Yeah.
higher quality of life.
Yeah. Yeah. So let's take Lord Ganesha himself. I always have him in front of me, right? This is
Wow.
small statue of Lord Ganesha. I always have him in front of me because every time I look at him, everything just calms down and I'm like back into the present moment, right? So he's our main guest. I'm just I'm just talking.
Yes.
So uh, Lord Ganesha is known as Vignaharta, which is the remover of obstacles, which I already said. Now, if you look at the symbolism of Lord Ganesha, the first thing is he has a moon on his head, right? Moon is, in Indian culture, moon is the representation of emotions. Okay. And when Ganesha has it on his head, what it means is uh, you are always in a state of peace. You're always in control. And it's not the kind of control where you're controlling emotions. It's like the emotions don't really shatter your peace of mind, right? You're always in state of peace. Now you have to understand, whenever you're trying to solve a problem or overcome an obstacle, if you do that in a state of peace, you will always come up with the highest quality solution for that obstacle. Imagine there is an obstacle, like you're on a ship and you're going somewhere. It's like a cruise ship. You're part of the crew, and all of a sudden you realize that one of the, you know, lower part of the ship has a hole in it, right? If you are in panic in that moment, you will patch it up just to kind of get rid of your panic, right? And you will do a shabby job of it. You will kind of do a temporary makeshift uh, solution. But if you are in a state of peace and you see, okay, there is a hole, but the ship is not sinking. Let's figure out a solution that once I patch it up, it does not happen again. And maybe instead of doing the same thing in panic, you do the same thing with a lot of peace and thoughtfully in a way that is technically sound. And you do the right things that will permanently, patch that thing. You will end up with a solution that stays forever. You don't have to go back to it. You know, this also means when you do it in a state of Shanta, Ganesha has something called as Ekadanta. Ekadanta means to cut once. So what you do is you cut an obstacle once and the obstacle does not come back in your life again. That is Ekadanta
Hmm.
because he has one teeth, right? That is again a quality of how you solve problems. You should never keep solving the same problem again and again and again. That means you're not solving it in the right way. And you will only be able to cut your problems or obstacles once when you do it in a state of peace.
Yes.
Okay. Now, if you see, the ears of Ganesha are like elephant, big ears, right? So there are two words for it. One is Gajakarna, another is Shurpakarna. Gajakarna is elephant ears. Shurpakarna is ears like, I don't know what you call it, but there is a soup. There is a souply, or we call it a soup, right? I
Uh-huh.
mean, there is a lot of grains, and you do this, and then the grains and the chaff is separated,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So what you need to learn is how to listen first. Like listen a lot. Have the ability. What does it mean is you need an ability to scan your environment and scan everything and really understand the obstacle better than the obstacle itself. How good are you at understanding the obstacle is more important than solving it. Because quite often, even if you know the obstacle, you're solving it in the wrong way because you don't understand the nature of the obstacle. How do you do that? By keeping your ears open, by listening to every signal that is coming in about that obstacle, right? That is the elephant ears. But then the other word which I said, I don't know what's the name of that thing in English,
Yeah.
right? But it is used to separate the chaff from the grains so that you can take the grains and discard the rest. Which means whenever you're taking in all the signals, you need to have enough intelligence to know what to hold and what to throw away when you're listening to signals. Let's say you're solving the problems of other people. We want to build business. We have customers. We are solving their problems and you're talking to them. You don't have to listen to everything they say, but you need to learn what to listen and what to let go. That is Shurpakarna, right? Because if you end up listening to everything, it will become chaos. If you listen to the right things and just use that as a signal to solve problems, it will be signal. It will be helpful, useful. That is Shurpakarna, right? Then he has a big stomach.
Yes.
Big stomach is known as Lambodhar. The job of this big stomach is to digest the obstacles. If you're going to solve problems for yourself, first of all, in life, it always begins with solving your own problems. But if you want to really kind of develop your abilities, you cannot stay happy with solving your own problems. You need to start solving other people's problems, right?
Mm.
And when you start solving other people's problems, you will be in a situation where you will start getting overwhelmed with too many problems coming to you, right?
Yes.
And that is when you need to develop an ability to digest problems. The stomach, the big stomach is actually, there is a yogic secret here. Do you know
Okay.
that?
No.
I'll tell you. I'll tell you. It's very simple. Okay. Whenever has it happened to you that you are probably doing a group project with your college friends or something, and all of a sudden too many problems start coming in and you get
Yes.
overwhelmed?
Yes.
I'll tell you what to do in that moment. Just take a pause and observe if your stomach has become tensed, and relax your stomach in that moment. The moment you relax your stomach in the middle of chaos, you start digesting the whole chaos. Okay, I want you to try this whenever that happens. Whenever any any kind of problem comes in, or let's say if one of your community members comes to you with a problem and you feel overwhelmed with the problem, your job is to relax your stomach. Because when you relax your stomach, your whole body relaxes. Try it now. If you see, relax your stomach, relax every muscle in your stomach. You
It's
see
like a
that every
whole realization,
correct.
relaxation.
And when that happens, you develop an ability to digest the chaos, the problems, the obstacles. And when you digest it, you can process it and you can
Wow.
absorb it.
So one of the biggest problem that people cannot solve their problem is because they are not in a peaceful mind. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, that's the first thing. If you try to solve problem either in excitement or in anxiety, you will not solve it forever. You want to solve problems in a way that once you solve it, it never comes back. And that will happen only when you do it in a state of peace. That's also one of the names of Ganesha, Shantaya. Shantaya is the one who is calm and peaceful.
Yeah. Yes.
Also, quite often, when you're calm and peaceful, most obstacles just disappear. They don't even exist. You will realize that 90% of the obstacles are just in your mind, not in reality.
Yeah. So
So,
so the key to problem solving is actually to have a peaceful mind. Is that what you're saying?
yes, absolutely.
How do we do that? How do we have a peaceful mind in this like chaotic world?
Yeah, that's a tough question. See, I think one of the best ways is there's this Kriya called as Shanti Kriya. I'll just tell you a technique,
Please.
and that is taught to me by my guru. Okay. So, what you have to do is whenever you sit, okay, whenever you feel that, oh, I'm feeling too anxious or I'm feeling too um, excited, either thing is fine. Like, doesn't matter, but you're not stable, you're not peaceful. You're either excited, you're either anxious. Sit down, close your eyes, observe the top of your head and the bottom of both your feet. You have to just feel all these three parts and relax all these three parts of your body, top of your head and bottom of your feet. Relax it. You will start observing your whole body starts getting relaxed. Just do this technique before you start solving any problem. In the beginning, it might take you maybe 2 minutes, 3 minutes of this practice. But as you start getting used to it, just one breath is enough.
Hmm.
One breath and you're back into state of peace. That's all. Do this and you start solving a problem.
Before you bring peace to the world, you need to have a peace in your mind and in your heart
Yes.
and deep in your being.
Yeah. In your whole body, not just not
Yeah.
just mind. Yeah.
Yeah. So you cannot help the world to achieve peacefulness without bring peace into your heart.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. Correct. And I'll tell you what is peace. Let's be very physical and biological about peace. Peace simply means your whole body is relaxed. Show me
yes.
one person who is excited or depressed or anxious whose body is relaxed. It is not, right? The only way You can have peace is when you're full of energy and your body is relaxed. Both. For a depressed person, it looks like the body is relaxed, but no, they just don't have enough energy to even tense their body, right? So you have to have energy and relaxation at the same time, and that is a state of peace.
Wow.
That's the simplest definition. Let's not make it complicated, like I don't have bad thoughts, I don't have negative thoughts. Let's just get rid of all these definitions because they're too subjective. This is
Yeah.
like physical. This is the physical manifestation of peace. High energy, relaxed body. That's peace.
High energy relaxation.
Yes, high energy relaxation. That's peace.
Yeah. So at the end of the podcast, I just want you to talk about, for those people who have absolutely no idea what to do in life, they're just so desperate. They know right now they are living a life they don't want to. What's the first
Yeah.
step? Let's say if they forgot everything that you just say in this podcast, what's the single thing they can do to actually suffer a little bit less and actually live in the life that they want?
Simple. Just ask yourself, what is the biggest obstacle I have in life? Okay. I mean, even if you just start facing the obstacle instead of running away from the obstacle, that's a great start.
Yes.
That's a
And,
great start.
and actually identifying the obstacles.
Yes. Like once you start asking this one question, see again, finding the right obstacle is a skill. It's like a
Yes.
muscle. And a muscle is developed when you practice it.
Yes.
Right? Quite often relationships are a problem. Sometimes you are in a toxic relationship. So many people will just ignore that relationship, saying just let's just ignore it. I don't even want to think about it. That's a
Yes.
natural reaction, right?
Yes.
Why? Why? Why can't you just sit, go out in the nature, sit under the sun, and then ask this question, what is the biggest obstacle of my life? It's either people, situation, or things, right? You can start with any obstacle and solve it once and forever. If it is your girlfriend or boyfriend who is completely messing you up, break up. Very simple,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? If it is the job that you don't like, you're doing a night shift and it is screwing up with your health, then get
Yes.
out of that job. You might have to take a lesser salary, but that's better than screwing up your body, right?
Yes.
You can then go
And
into a day shift, have a lot of energy in your body, develop a better skill, and then move on to a better job that will pay you better, right? But if you're doing night shift, your brain will not even work to learn a new skill.
yeah. And as you say, why we keep getting stuck in the same loop in relationship and financial health and physical health is because we don't know what the obstacle is. That's why we cannot
Correct.
address it. And
Correct.
that's
Because we never
and
look at it as an obstacle. We look at it as it's normal. We don't think it is
yes,
an obstacle. Okay. Okay, let's look at how to find the right obstacle.
yes,
Okay? Simple question. What is draining my energy the most right now is the biggest obstacle.
my girlfriend.
Yes. So then get rid of her.
That's simple.
Right. Yeah, of course. I mean, it's emotionally very difficult, but it's a tough decision.
Yes.
That, I mean, it's a tough decision. It's draining your energy is because you don't want it and you're still keeping it, holding tight to it. It's like cutting yourself all the time with a blade without you realizing that you're cutting yourself. You think someone else is cutting you. So, the best way to find the biggest obstacle of your life is asking, okay, what is draining my energy the most right now?
Wow.
Remove it. Because, see, I'll tell you, your natural state is always high energy. Have you seen a baby who is born and who's like in the first few years of their life? Have you seen them feeling depressed and low energy?
No, no.
No, because being in high energy is our default state, and we have become so used to the low energy that we don't even know the experience of having high energy anymore. We don't even know how it feels like anymore, right? So it could be friends who are draining your energy. So stop being friends with them. Stop communicating. Start making a distance with them. What is draining your energy the most in life? Start building relationships that give you energy instead of taking your energy. So the first thing is to stop leaking energy. And the best question you can ask yourself is, okay, what is draining my energy in life right now? Okay. It could be your relationships, it could be certain situations, it could be your job. Probably you're doing a night shift job and your body is completely, you know, in a bad state because of it. And so you don't have enough energy to do anything else. So your biggest problem right now is the job. So start looking for a day job instead of a night job, right? That's one example of how to find what is draining your energy. It could be your girlfriend who is draining your energy completely. It's a completely, or it could be your boyfriend, right? And it's a toxic relationship. So getting out of that relationship should be your priority. Like you need to put it on a timeline that next Saturday I'm going to tell my boyfriend or girlfriend that we are done, right? That's an example. Again, it could be your friends who are not doing anything in life and pulling you back with them, and you're not able to push yourself and do something. Then stop talking with them. Find better friends who you can who can inspire you, who can give you energy, who can push you to do things. Find those kinds of friends. But you won't find them until you leave the friends who are pulling you back, right? So it could be anything. So look at yourself, sit down, go out in nature, put your feet on the ground, get sun on your body, and ask this question: what is draining my energy right now? What is the biggest energy leakage of my life? And take care of it. And keep doing that until you reach a point where all of a sudden you have enough clarity of what you want in life. And that will naturally tell you what is the next obstacle. Because when you have big ambition, when you say, okay, I want to build a company that makes $1 million every month, then you have enough obstacles to solve. First is, I don't know how to do it. That's the first obstacle. I don't know what to sell. That's another obstacle. I don't know how to create products. I don't know how to create content. I don't know how to market my products. I I don't know how to keep profits, right? Because I'm making money, but I'm losing money as well. So I don't know
Yes.
how to be profitable. There are so many obstacles you're going to face every single day when you start building a business for the rest of your life. And that's a great life. Imagine solving business problems rather than solving stupid life problems, personal
Yeah.
problems. It's way better. Because
Yeah.
see, no matter what scale are you playing at, you will face problems. You just have to choose the right problems to solve, right?
Yes.
Because problems are not leaving, they're not going anywhere.
Hmm.
They'll keep coming. It's just what kind of problem do you choose? They will come to you.
So if you cannot bring peace to your mind, you cannot bring peace to the world. And if you don't have the
Yes.
energy, you cannot solve your problems
Yes,
because you don't have the
absolutely.
energy to it. So it all comes down to energy, to have a high energy shanti, to
Yeah.
have a high energy relaxation.
Yeah, but the question is, why do I want high energy? That's the first problem, right?
Yes.
It's to solve problems. And why do I want to solve problems? Because that's what I'm doing right now anyways. I'm just solving other people's problems through the job that I'm doing or through whatever I'm doing,
Okay.
right? So most people, you will tell them you need high energy, but they don't know why they need it.
Hmm.
They need it to escape from the control of the corporations, control of the system. If you want to get out of the rat race, that's why you need the energy. So it's not just about having energy, it's about why do I want to have that energy? How will I use it? It's like I want fuel, but for what? Is it to burn down a house, or is it to, drive my car? Why do I
Yeah.
want it?
Yeah.
That's more important. So keep this, like, if you want to, follow this path, right? And Alan, I since I know you for a very long time, one thing that Alan can definitely help is getting out of this rat race. And if this is something that deeply kind of connects with you, which is like, I want to get out of this rat race. I want to just get rid of all the compulsions in my life, and I don't have freedom, and I want that freedom. Then you need energy for that. And if you want to learn how to build that energy, then I think Alan can do a great job teaching you that.
Energy is a currency of life. If you don't have enough
Yes.
energy, you'll die. The more energy you have, the more you can achieve.
Yes, absolutely.
Shanti. And I think we should end in there. Thank you very much, Prathamesh. It's my honor
Thank
to
you so
have
much,
you here.
Ali. Same here. Thank you. See you
Thank
soon.
you.
Bye-bye.
See you soon. Bye bye.
Bye-bye.